when I made this decision to focus on waiting tables as a career path, when I began to acknowledge all of the things that it was bringing into my life, the people that I'm meeting, the freedom of schedule that I've been able to create. On a side note, I have my own business during the day, which generates quite a bit of income. So when I pair those two things together, my social media company and waiting tables in the evening, the hours between the two of those things combined is no more than 40 to 50 hours a week, which is right around what most people in Silicon Valley are working for the amount of income that I'm generating. And most of that time, half of that time, I spend at my own discretion. And a great example of that is that every day I'm able to leave my office at home and come out to this amazing park or anywhere else I choose to go and work out for an hour or two and meditate and sit on a bench and look at the clouds. And these are important things to me. And I don't have to commute during crazy hours where everyone's stuck in traffic. When I drive home at night from work at 11 o'clock or whenever, there's hardly anyone on the road. These are things that are important to me. For other people, having a career and being part of a company or a startup and working that regular kind of conventional range of hours, that to them is a measure of success. And more power to them. No judgment there. So again, approaching waiting tables as a craft, as a career path, and taking it seriously means a number of things. One, optimizing my body and getting into a state of physical health and well-being that's going to enable me to wait tables another 10, 15 years, 20 years if I have to. And that means approaching this craft like an athlete approaches their sport. And I've mentioned this in past blogs and things that I've written. But if you're going to be waiting tables, especially later in life, you have to take care of yourself. For those of you that wear pedometers or keep your smartphone in your pocket during your shift, take a look at your health apps. I mean, you're easily walking anywhere, depending on how big your restaurant is, but 3, 5, 6, 7 miles. I mean, I've clocked 8 miles before, and I work in a 77 or so seat restaurant, very small. And there's lots of getting up and down and lateral movement and bending and going upstairs and going downstairs and carrying heavy loads of plates out in front of you that puts strain on your joints and on your lower back. I remember when I was about 20 or 30 pounds overweight, I was constantly having back problems and having to go to a chiropractor. And finally the guy said to me, "You need to lose some weight." And I did. And guess what? Ever since I lost that weight, I can't think of a day that I've had those back problems. Maybe a little bit, but it's nothing that some stretching or some push-ups can't take care of. Again, athletes are serious about their sport, and they take great ownership and pride in how they manage their bodies. It's a pretty obvious point, but it's not something that I think is mentioned enough in the work that we do. I've worked with a couple of guys, one guy in particular that would go to the gym before every shift. And I remember when he would get to work, he'd have a big meal, and then he would go into the back and he would stretch. And I was always impressed by that. And I would look at him and I would think, if only I could get to a place where I was making that part of my daily routine. And now that I have, not only do I want to reach out and thank him, and I think I will, I can't imagine how I was able to do it before. It changes everything. When you are in peak physical condition or near peak, at least relative to your own abilities and potential, the confidence that it gives you, the way that it adjusts your tableside manner, your posture, the way you approach people. I think I read somewhere that something like 80% of communication is nonverbal. Only 7 to 10% of what we say is actually what we say. It's everything else is, the listener is absorbing via your expression, your posture, how you look. And in waiting tables, those first milliseconds are where the impression is made. So if you're showing up to your table tired, slumped, bad posture, people are going to make judgments. And that's not to say that there aren't great waiters out there that are, carrying extra weight, or, who don't work out, or I'm not saying any of that. This is not like a prescription for everyone, a one-size-fits-all solution. I'm simply speaking for myself and how I feel about being on the floor now that I am, reaching closer to peak physical fitness for myself. It's making a difference. I also want to explore how I treat my body after the shift. This is an area that I'm still struggling with, because when I get home at night from work, the first thing that I want to do is eat. And I also want to either have a glass of wine, or more in the past, but also still smoke weed. These are things that have given me comfort for many years, and I've been in this industry since I was out of high school, and these are just long, deep-rooted patterns of relaxation that I would like to explore and find alternatives to. One of the things that I've been playing around with are different types of teas, valerian root, turmeric. I've been making this turmeric milk where I heat up some coconut milk and add turmeric to that. But again, they aren't quite as sexy as having a glass of wine, or smoking some pot. But this is all being done with the idea of getting up the next day and feeling ready to tackle the things that matter to me, and not waking up feeling groggy and foggy and hungover.